Hey guys, Nick from Arch City Poker and ArchCityPLO.com, and in today's video we're going to talk about 3-betting in live low stakes games. So essentially it really depends on the type of opponent that is raising. And that might seem kind of obvious to a lot of you, but it matters quite a bit. So in live low stakes games, players will often split their ranges into a limping range that they plan to limp call with, a lot of like speculative hands, and then they'll raise kind of rarely with a very narrow and tight range. These types of players, we don't want to 3-bet them too often. We exploit them by essentially raising against their limps and isolating them post-flop, attacking their weak and wide ranges in that manner. But when they open for a raise, they just have a strong range, and we're not really going to make a lot of money by attacking strength in live low stakes games. Now, you can still 3-bet. You can 3-bet aces, kings, and I would use like ace-5 suited as one of your bluffing combos. But generally, I don't think we should really get too far outside of that against that type of range because you're really only going to get action from better. You're going to fold out worse a lot of times. Now, let's say on the flip side, though, you do have an opponent that is capable of raising pretty much every time they open a pot. They have a pretty reasonable to looser range. Then we are going to want to 3-bet them more often. Now, how they continue against a 3-bet is going to depend on what we 3-bet ourselves. If you find that you have a high level of confidence that your opponent is going to raise and never fold to a 3-bet, then you should use what is referred to as a linear range. A linear range is going to contain essentially more good hands. Like, you're going to expand upon your value range. So instead of just aces and kings, we're going to add queens, jacks, maybe even tens, add some ace-king suited, ace-queen suited, ace-king offsuit, maybe even some king-queen suited. But essentially, you're just adding stronger combos to your 3-betting range and expanding upon that value range, if you will. Instead of ace-5 suited or even more baby-suited aces, you might use even ace-10 suited, ace-9 suited instead. Essentially just better hands overall. The reason for that, well, if your opponent's never going to fold to a 3-bet and they have a reasonable to looser range, then we want to 3-bet them with a stronger range ourselves. We don't want to end up post-flop with hands that are dominated by a lot of hands in their range. Now, if you have an opponent that is going to open but then either 4-bet or fold to a 3-bet, then we want to go ahead and polarize our 3-betting range, meaning we want to have hands at the top of our range, such as like aces and kings, and then we want to have a few bluffing combos. So we still want to expand upon our range. Maybe we go aces, kings, pocket queens, and then ace-king suited, maybe half of our ace-king offsuit. We're going to add to our ace-5 suited, we're going to add maybe ace-4 suited, ace-3 suited, maybe mix in like some king-7 suited or king-6 suited. We don't want to use a combo like ace-jack suited as often or king-queen suited. We don't want to use pocket 10s or pocket 9s. The reason for that against this type of player is we don't want to get 4-bet off of our or off of those types of hands, and we also don't want to fold out worse hands in his range that we might dominate. So let's say you do 3-bet king-queen suited against that type of opponent. He's going to very likely fold king-jack suited, for example, whereas that other opponent who never folds to a 3-bet, he's going to always continue with king-jack suited. So we do want to have king-queen suited instead of king-6 suited that you would use as part of your polarized range against the opponent that either 4-bets or folds to 3-bets pre-flop. So I know there's a lot going on at the end there, but main takeaways: understand the type of population you're playing within. If you have a high level of confidence that you understand what type of range your opponent is first of all raising with, and then how they're continuing against 3-bets, then that's how you can essentially construct your range based on that info and construct your range in an efficient manner. If you do not know your opponent and he opens, I would stick to a pretty conservative 3-betting range of, again, like maybe aces, kings, and then like ace-5 suited. If you've seen that he can be a little bit looser or more reasonable, he's not really limping, he's just raising when he does enter the pot, then expand upon your 3-betting range. I would say use a linear range for now, because I think most live low stakes opponents, when they raise, they don't fold to 3-bets as often from what I see. They just want to see flops. So against unknowns, use a linear range. Just expand upon your value raising range. If there are any questions or comments, let me know in the comment section. Make sure you visit archcityplo.com. Been uploading No Limit and PLO content still daily. There's over 75 videos on that site now. So go ahead and check that out. Click on the link to visit that. Subscribe to this channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.